All right, today we're diving into something pretty cool, Theta AI. We're going to look at how they're helping these huge industrial projects make a massive shift from just reacting to problems to actually predicting and preventing them. So let's get into how it all works. Okay, so picture this. You're in charge of a massive energy plant, or maybe a huge mine, or even a $1 billion construction project. The complexity is just mind-boggling, right? You've got thousands of moving parts, crazy tight deadlines, and super thin margins. In that world, just one little surprise, a delay, a machine breakdown, a safety slip-up, that can literally cost millions of dollars. The stakes are incredibly high. And that's the real challenge, isn't it? I mean, the traditional tools that we've been using to manage these things, they're pretty good at telling us what went wrong yesterday. But what if you could see problems before they even happen? What if you could get a clear heads up about what might go wrong tomorrow?
You know what I'm talking about. Think about your typical project dashboard. It's basically a rear-view mirror, right? It only shows you the past. It's great at telling you you're already over budget or you're already behind schedule. It's what we call a lagging indicator. And it forces your teams into this constant state of reaction, always playing catch up. So to actually get ahead of the curve, we've got to move beyond that dashboard. It's time for a totally new approach, one that helps us look forward, through the windshield, not just back at what's already in the dust. And this is exactly where a new class of tool comes in, the AI assistant. Now, I want you to think of this less like a piece of software and more like a digital partner, a partner that's constantly analyzing data in real time to predict what's just around the corner.
So let's meet these AI assistants. Theta AI has actually developed a whole suite of them, and each one is specifically tailored to a critical area of these big industrial operations. Okay, so their whole suite covers 4 main areas. You've got one for the project management office to keep an eye on performance. Then there's an AI for operations and maintenance that predicts breakdowns. There's also a safety guardian to stop incidents before they happen, and even an assistant for procurement to help control costs. It's a pretty comprehensive way of looking at things. Now, this first one, the AI PMO assistant, it's not about replacing the project management office. Not at all. Think of it more like giving the PMO a digital superpower. It's this always-on partner that's constantly monitoring performance and flagging issues the second they start to bubble up. To really get a feel for how powerful this is, let's take a closer look at that AI PMO assistant and see exactly how it works.
All right, so how does this thing actually work? How does it take this, massive sea of raw data and turn it into a clear, actionable prediction? Let's break down the process.
It's basically a 4-step process. First up, it just plugs into the systems you're already using, your ERP, P6, IoT sensors, all of that, and pulls in the data. Second, the AI starts to learn. Anytime there's a deviation from the plan, it flags it and creates an action for follow-up. Third, it doesn't just sit on that info. It pushes those alerts out to the teams in the field through an app, so they can give feedback. And finally, all of that information fuels this incredible chatbot assistant that can give you forecasts and let you run all kinds of what-if scenarios. And this is a perfect example of what that looks like in practice. So on the left here, you see the system has automatically spotted a quantity deviation for some materials. Seems like a small thing, right? A little flag. But then, look at the right. The AI assistant instantly crunches the numbers, analyzes the impact on the whole project, and gives you the bottom line. This one little issue is going to cause a 2-day delay for the entire project. Now that is an early warning that is absolutely priceless. Yeah, this quote really nails it. The AI PMO assistant is an always-on digital partner. It's not just about detecting issues earlier. It's about understanding why they happen and then giving you the chance to act before they turn into huge losses. It's about stopping the snowball effect. Okay, so spotting a problem before it happens is amazing. But what about actually solving it? Well, this is where the platform goes from just being predictive to being truly proactive. It gives teams the power to ask, what if? So let's say your project is heading for a delay. You can literally just ask the assistant, hey, what activities can we start sooner to save some time? And it's not going to give you some generic, useless answer. No. It analyzes all the complex task dependencies and suggests specific, actionable things you can do, like maybe overlapping design and procurement. Or here's another powerful what if. You can ask about resources. What happens if we add an extra crane operator to this task, or maybe 2 more masons? The AI will immediately calculate the impact and tell you, yep, that could cut the duration by 40 to 50% and save you about 4 or 5 days. Instantly. And it can get even more strategic. The AI can dig into all your historical data to model even bigger changes. For instance, it can analyze the performance of all your different vendors and actually suggest, hey, if you swap to this other vendor here, you could probably compress your timeline significantly. And it's all based on hard, real-world data.
So let's just recap that. When a project is in trouble, you basically have three powerful levers you can pull. You can relook at the schedule and task dependencies, you can calculate the impact of adding more resources, or you can even look at swapping out vendors. And in every single case, you get to see the likely outcome before you have to commit to a decision. Now, just imagine applying that same predictive power to safety or maintenance or procurement. It's a game changer.
So, what does all of this mean for a whole organization? Well, it adds up to way more than just a new tool. We're talking about a fundamental shift in how these massive projects are managed. It's about gaining a true proactive advantage.
And this really puts it into black and white. You're moving away from the old way, reactive management. Relying on lagging indicators, always responding to problems, tons of manual analysis, where surprises are just part of the job. And you move to proactive management, using leading indicators, preventing problems with automated intelligence, and, well, having a whole lot fewer of those expensive surprises.
And the benefits here, they're not just abstract ideas. They're totally tangible. You get fewer of those late-in-the-game crises, your teams spend way less time buried in spreadsheets, and more time actually solving problems. Your big decisions are backed by real, forward-looking data, and of course, your stakeholders get a huge boost in confidence because the whole project just becomes so much more predictable.
So when you really think about it, this kind of technology poses a fascinating question. It's not just about managing projects better anymore. It's about having the power to actually shape their outcomes. So I'll leave you with this thought. When you can predict the future, how will you choose to change it?